this quiz. Just look at the crackers I've pulled. Your starter for 10, Sarah Pascoe. Come on down, Josh Widdicombe. He's good, but he's not quite right. Johnny Vegas. And my pointless friend, Alan Davies. Let's hear their buzzers. Sarah goes. Aw, Josh goes. Johnny goes. And Alan goes.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Let's start with a little stocking filler, especially for Alan. 60% of the world's Christmas decorations are made in China, in a single town there. China gets the name from the Qin dynasty, which invented candles in about 200 BC. So, my seasonal starter is, what did the Qin make their candles from? Bear in mind, this is a present for you, Alan. This is an absolute gift, this. What did they make their candles from?
Blue whales?
Yes. Not necessarily blue whales. Whales generally.
Oh,
whales.
well, that's good.
But you get not only a blue whale bonus, you get this festive cheer.
Like the alarm. Tailed off into something quite menacing.
It's Quizmaz, so we're going quizzing. Has anybody had a bad quizzing experience?
I've had a few.
Oh, have you? Like what?
Well, about 4 years ago, my mum got really jealous of her twin sister, who was doing very, very well at Trivial Pursuit. And she said, can I ask the next question? And what she asked was, why have you done nothing with your life?
What category is that? Is that
Wow.
art and literature?
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, it ruined the quiz.
I would imagine it had a fair impact on the family as well.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else been in quizzes that have not gone well for?
I did a pub quiz and the other team were late and they'd come all the way from Croydon or somewhere and this bloke said, oh, I feel like Marco Polo coming all the way up here. And I said, and I thought this was really funny, who's he? That's good, you see. Yeah. Did a pub quiz thing and they looked at me absolutely blank, thinking, we're going to stuff these.
He's got nothing.
It's a joke, you see. I feel like Marco Polo. Oh, who's that? and they did stuff us, actually. I didn't answer a single question. I had no idea what they were talking about. And then when they did sport, I think they did lacrosse.
Ah.
That isn't a sport, is it?
It's not a sport.
It's not a sport. It's got a net in it.
Football has a net in it?
Yeah, but they don't run around with it. It is a legitimate sport. It is. It's just I don't know anything about it. Maybe it wasn't even lacrosse. I'd switched off by then.
It's an ancient sport, actually. It's a Native American sport.
That's probably what the question was.
Oh. Had me there.
Could have done with you there, yeah. You might have laughed at the Marco Polo gag as well.
Josh, any bad quizzing experiences?
I found out a family thing at a pub quiz.
That's not your mother?
Tie-break's a tie-break, though, isn't it? So I've always been told that there's this guy I'm a descendant of called Sabin Baring Gould who wrote the lyrics to Abide With Me.
That's the claim to fame in the family?
The claim to fame in the family.
OK.
And it came up in a pub quiz, and I was like, here we bloody go. Watch out here, Sabin Baring Gould. And it wasn't him. And the whole thing had been some lie passed down in the family.
No.
And people were like, that's not even a name. Who...
That's a firm of chartered surveyors.
I don't know that the biggest shock in a family is you discover you're not related to the person who wrote Abide With Me.
Every FA Cup final day ruined now.
I used to host a quiz.
Right.
I worked at a pub. There was no internet, so I had to go to the library every week and fundamentally work out children's atlases to set the questions. And I asked a question one week, and it was, where on the body would you find the clavicle, which is the shoulder. But I wrote it down in haste and said the knee. And one of the pub teams was a team of ambulance drivers who virtually had me up against a wall, shaking me, telling me I was an idiot. But then 3 months later, it was a Christmas quiz, so you got outside teams coming to the pub. And it was brilliant, because in the quiz you go, according to the Vegas Medical Dictionary, where on the body would you find the clavicle? And it was just beautiful watching the locals go, it's the knee!
Josh, this is going to make you feel good. The elves tell me that Baring Gould, your relative, did write Onward Christian Soldiers.
Oh, Onward Christian Soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a better song.
Yeah.
It's a bigger hit, isn't it?
Do you feel better now?
I genuinely feel on cloud 9.
I did a quiz once on Radio 2, and it was Ed Stupot. And he said, can you name 3 people from the world of entertainment who came originally from Denmark? And I went, yeah, got this. So Victor Borge, I came up with, Hans Christian Andersen, and then I couldn't think of a third one. It was me.
In a month of madness, we did a celebrity version of, you know, Family Fortunes. Worst mistake we ever made.
Why?
Name something you'd bite and not swallow. And my dad buzzed in and said, a towel.
I'm never going to look at a towel in the same way again.
No, well, you know when you instantly look at your dad and just mouth quietly, who hurt you?
Well, the pub quiz is notorious for igniting furious rows about tiny quibbles, so we asked our Twitter followers to send us examples of petty quarrels at pub quizzes. So here are a few that they sent us. What is the act of eating outside called? Anybody?
Al fresco.
Both the same thing. Lots of teams answered al fresco. The quizmaster said a picnic, and there was uproar for at least 10 minutes. This is from Scott Doherty, who sent us this in. Here's another one. This is from Barker and Jones. What is the connection between the word murder and the horse Red Rum?
Red rum is murder backwards.
Absolutely. The answer that Quizmaster had is murder is red rum backwards. Their answer that they gave is that the two are anagrams of each other, which is also correct, but
yes.
Quizmaster refused to accept the... I know.
That is annoying.
Yeah, OK. Let's try this one. Who can spell Fahrenheit? Go.
Not me.
No.
I'll try.
Go on, then.
Fahrenheit.
So, a gentleman called Sea Spaniel once had an argument about how it's spelt. He is here with us in the audience. There he is, right there. Now, how did you settle how it was actually spelt?
I contacted Leiden University and asked them to get hold of an original copy of Fahrenheit's signature.
Do you think it's possible, darling, you were taking it a little bit too seriously?
I believe so, and I've calmed down now and I'm on medication.
Did they write back and tell you?
Yes, they did.
How did you contact them?
Well, it was using email, but it was pre-Google.
So how did you spell it in email?
You know the guy who wasn't Celsius? That's... Why do you call yourself Sea Spaniel, Danny?
It's an anagram of my name.
Is it an anagram or just your name backwards?
Could be both.
OK. Well, thank you very much for coming in. That's fantastic. Right, origin of the word quiz, anybody know?
Oh, we've had this one.
You have had this one before.
Someone said, I'll make up a word and everyone will be saying it.
Yeah, that's the bit that we definitely proved wasn't true. That bit was... The truth is, we don't know. In the late 18th century, it meant an odd or eccentric person. But there was also a thing called a quizzing glass, which is a marvellous thing. It's a magnifying glass, and it used to be worn on a chain around the neck, and you held it up to look closely at things. But in the mid-18th century, quizzing was mocking somebody by examining them closely with a quizzing glass, became quite the thing. So you all have one.
You mock
them
them
out.
by looking at them?
Yes, so it was used as a sort of Oh, is that what you're wearing? Oh. So the king of dealing with a quizzing glass was a man called Beau Brummel in the 18th century. It was said he could destroy a person's social standing altogether by just using his quizzing glass like this. I mean, he was an amazing guy. In his heyday, it took him 5 hours to get dressed. Very like yourself, Johnny. It's very similar.
5 hours?
I think it's so rude of someone who takes that long to get dressed to then insult other people with his little glass. I don't like him.
You don't like him? He polished his boots in champagne. He's said to have had 3 different hairdressers for different parts of his head. So a bit for the front, bit for the back, bit for the sides. He is said
Between them, they've really fucked it up.
He was quite a piece of work. He once caught a chill and he blamed his valet for forcing him to enter a room containing a damp stranger. Now, 'tis the season to be jolly, and tonight we have some jolly, silly questions. In fact, we have trawled the QI archives for the silliest questions we've been asked over the years. This one is from 2006, and it's from a Mr. Alan Davies. Alan, this is the question that you asked in 2006. Perhaps you would read it out, please.
If you went up into space with a mouse and an elephant, would they both become weightless at the same time?
Right, so there is you in 2006 asking this question.
I forgot that you were in the Wonder stuff.
So what do you reckon? You've had 12 years to think about it. If you went into space with a mouse and an elephant, would they both become weightless at the same time?
I would say that, yes, they would, because gravity disappears from both of them at the same moment, right?
Yeah, if there's no gravity, you weigh nothing, so it doesn't matter how big or small you are.
Yeah, but the elephant would be so afraid of the mouse, maybe he jumps.
Elephants can't jump, did you know that?
Don't mess with his
It's
science.
one of the reasons why they're afraid of mice.
Because they can't...
Alan, if only the elephant had the foresight to stitch a tiny hat for the mouse
Right.
and learn to fly.
Ah, well, we will come on to flying elephants in just one moment.
I'm so glad, because I know nothing, but I watch a lot of Disney films.
Well, then, this is the show for you. Here's another science question. If you are in a place with no gravity and somebody hurls a weightless mouse at you and an equally weightless elephant, would they both feel the same when they hit you?
No.
OK, why not?
Because
They're both weightless.
I reckon if you had 2 items that are weightless and one is smaller than me...
Yeah.
...then that would deflect off me more in the same way that I would deflect off an elephant because I'm smaller than an elephant. Does that make sense?
No, not really.
It's going to be controlled by their mass.
It is about mass, it's about momentum.
Yeah.
If you've got a big ship on the water and you push it...
Yeah.
...and you've got a little paper boat and you push it, and there are 2 people in dinghies...
Yeah.
The person in the dinghy's got the paper boat coming towards them...
Yeah.
...is indifferent.
Yeah.
The person in the dinghy with the big ship coming towards them...
Is quite bothered.
...be rightly afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the same principle applies in space with elephants.
I love this show. I go home and I don't sleep for weeks afterwards.
How many species of elephant are there today?
2. 3.
There are 3. There is the Asian elephant.
Got it back. Grabbed it straight back.
There's the Asian elephant.
It's harder than it looks. Nice
It's
job.
got the bloody answer on it.
answer.
Oh, yeah. Come here, sweetie. Take it.
Call them trainers.
There's one Asian kind and there are 2 African. There's the African forest and the African savannah.
And there's the space elephants.
Yeah, the space elephant. Well, we're going to come on to the one with the little hat. What was called?
Dumbo.
Dumbo, OK. What would happen to Dumbo's ears when he came into land?
Oh, pop.
Ah, no. So,
Go for it.
can't believe
Phil,
it.
straight in there.
Too easy. We're too easy, Josh. We've got to keep moving. They're catching us every time.
So, no. Do we know why human ears pop?
Oh, it's air pressure in the sinuses and the various head cavities.
No, it's Rice Krispies when you're younger.
Stop putting them up your nose, you fool!
You have air in your ear canal, so when the outside pressure changes, there's an imbalance. And we equalise this thanks to the eustachian tube, so it's able to release air down into the throat, and that is that sort of feeling when it equalises that you hear a pop. Elephants, all the different chambers in an elephant's skull are connected with these broad, open channels, and that means there should never be any difference in pressure. So I think Dumbo would certainly not have to hold his trunk and blow.
But does that mean if they go underwater, they just fill up with water?
A silly question for next Christmas.
Someone just write that down.
Yeah.
Did he just say that?
Did he just say that? Write that down.
We'll bring that up in 14 years.
Yeah. OK, here's a good Dumbo question. How big would Dumbo's ears have to be to enable him to fly?
Oh, good question.
Very good
I'd say 30
question.
metres either side.
OK, so we have actually done the maths.
I would say they'd have to be longer at the back.
Why?
If you look at an aeroplane,
Yes.
the wings are in the middle and
Yeah.
these are at the front.
Yeah. So they'd need to...
So it's not how wide they have to
No.
be, it's the depth.
Yeah. I don't know why you didn't go into something technical for a living.
Come round and I will show you my big book of rejection letters. Honest to God, the one off NASA is just...
Yeah, you're not allowed to come up and you're not allowed to bring your elephant either.
So the width?
Yeah,
the
so...
I think
OK. So here's the thing, if they were rigid, they would have to be a 20-foot ear span, is what we've worked out. But if they were floppy like a hang glider, this is Dumbo, they would have to measure, and we've done this to scale, OK, they would have to measure 60 foot from tip to tip in order for this to work.
Sandi,
Yeah.
I don't want you to embarrass yourself, but it won't work. There's no tiny mouse sat on it.
You have to imagine I'm the tiny mouse, I think is the way to do it. And so if you take that, darling, so that's how big, if Dumbo were real, the ears would have to be that big.
I'll be honest, if they were that big, the mother would reject him.
Yeah.
No, it's Christmas!
And it's been a silly Billy. Honest to God, I've never, ever presented this show looking at an elephant's arse. It's the weirdest thing. Right, time for a sing-song. Christmas is often a time when you're given the gift of a book, and I was given one called Should I Stay or Should I Go? By James Ball, which poses some interesting questions raised in songs. Hopefully we can sort a few of them out. Have a listen to this.
How much is that doggy in the window?
OK, so how much would a puppy under 6 months old actually cost from a pet shop in the UK?
400.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, sorry. No,
I said 450.
You can't get them from pet shops.
That is the correct answer. You cannot get them from pet shops since 2019.
Speaking to a dog rescuer.
You can only get them now from breeders or authorised rehoming centres. The rules changed in 2019.
It has to be a licensed breeder, and you must ask to see the mother.
Yes, you must see the mother.
Anyone's mother. Would you like to go out with me? I want to see your mother.
Let's have another question from a song.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
is it a feeding thing?
It is to do with feeding, darling. Birds are able to distinguish rather subtle changes in air pressure. And they may know that a storm is coming and they want to feed as quickly as possible before the weather changes.
That's what it is.
So it's to do with that.
My dad lives in Australia and he had grapes outside of his house in Adelaide and all of these birds, it was like they just had chatted to each other. They just turned up all at once and ate everything in 2 minutes and went away.
Wow. Why is it that we never see baby pigeons? What do you think the reason is?
They're invisible till they're 6 months old.
They mature are quicker than most species, and they tend to stay in the nest until they're fully fledged.
Yeah.
And the fact is, honestly, we don't really see baby birds of any kind, really. We'll see ducks and so on, but mostly we don't see baby birds anywhere. The way you can tell a baby pigeon, occasionally you see them in the street, and the adults have red, orange eyes. You can see the adult there, and the babies still have dark eyes, so that is one of the ways in which you could tell.
They love it. They're pretty, the babies, aren't they?
Yeah, you'd have to be a mother to love that, wouldn't you?
My dad used to race pigeons when I was a kid.
Did he win?
We're in the presence of professional comedians.
Alan gave me 20 quid to do that setup.
Let's have another song question.
How many roads must a man walk down?
OK, so my question is, how much road should a boy walk down before he becomes a man?
Oh, in terms of ageing?
Well, let's try and just work out how many miles. Between your 5th and your 18th birthday, so that it makes you a man. How many roads?
8,000 roads.
8,000 roads?
I'm going to say 25,000 roads.
I'm going to go 100 miles a year, and it's 13 years, 1,300 miles.
OK, it is...
It's not enough, it's not
No,
enough.
it's going to make a very, very fat person.
You're telling me that I'm a beast because I've walked on the pavement instead of the road?
No. So they reckon on average a boy ought to walk 15,000 steps per day. That's 35,500 miles between their 5th and their 18th birthday. So there are just under 250,000 miles of road in the UK. So the answer to Bob Dylan's question for the British ban is you should aim to walk down 1/7 of all British roads by the time you are 18.
That was a really long afternoon in the office.
Yeah. So my question, as a woman, is how many roads must a man walk down before he admits he's lost? The audience says all of them. Only 6% of men surveyed said they would ask for directions or consult a map after realising they're lost. The average man drives an extra 900 miles while lost during their lifetime. So if you think Land's End to John O'Groats is 874 miles, that's how much extra time men will drive.
Now is a new thing where men think they know better than the sat-nav.
Oh. Well...
Always.
Oh, no.
Oh, don't listen to that shit. Don't listen to that.
Now, here's another extremely silly question submitted in 2011 by, Mr. Alan Davies. So, there you go, darling. If you could just read the question out. Thank you so much.
What is the aquatic equivalent of a sheepdog?
Any ideas?
Well, the closest has got to be a dolphin.
You're right. From about 1840 to 1930, off the coast of Eden in New South Wales, there was a pod of orcas, a type of dolphin, and they were recorded herding whales towards fishermen, and they were rewarded with the tongues and lips of the whale. It became known as the law of the tongue. The indigenous people, the Yuin people, are thought to have cooperated with orcas for, we don't know, perhaps thousands of years. But it came to an end with the death of the lead orca, who was known as Old Tom, 1938. But Laguna in southern Brazil, there's a group of bottlenose dolphins, and they have been collaborating with local fishermen to herd fish since at least 1847. So they drive shoals of mullet towards the fishermen in shallow water, and then they indicate the sort of specialised head and tail movements where the humans should throw the nets, and then they share the catch. And there's about 200 fishermen who are entirely dependent on the dolphins, and they never fish without them. And it seems to be a single group of dolphins. About 20 of them.
Yeah.
And it rather suggests it's been handed down, as it were, in the family, exactly as it has for the fishermen. And there's also dogs that herd fish. They're called Portuguese water dogs, and they've been used for this purpose for absolutely centuries. The Portuguese call them Portuguese fishing dogs.
That's a good photo, isn't it?
Isn't that beautiful?
Look at that.
The dog looks so happy.
What's the shutter speed there, Sandy?
It's unbelievably fast.
You run at me and I'll get you when you're running.
When I go to get my hair cut, I take a photo of him in, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, that would suit you, darling. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Then you could get a little brown beard like he's got as well.
It turns out that there actually are aquatic sheepdogs after all, sort of, anyway. Not as silly as you thought. Now, here is another. It's Christmas, time for Her Majesty's speech, but what did people sing before there was a national anthem?
Onward Christian Soldiers.
Anybody know? God Save the King, when does that come from?
I imagine it's Victorian.
I don't think that God Save the King started in Victorian times. Because
No.
That...
No. That's a very good point.
Wouldn't it be Rule Britannia?
Well, they're performed publicly in the same year. So God Save the King it was, first publicly performed in 1745. It was the band at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, and it was played nightly. It was a sort of defiant response to the Jacobite victory at the Battle of Preston Pan. But there is a third patriotic song which is much older, used to be more popular than either of those things. It was called Britain's Strike Home. It was written by Henry Purcell in 1695 for a production of a play about... I don't know what we say anymore. Did we say Boudicca?
Yeah, Boudicca.
Boudicca is the way forward.
We still say Boadicea in Essex, where she lived.
You've got it right. It was sung by a druid to whip up resistance against the Romans, and it used to be hugely popular, this song. The entire House of Commons sang it spontaneously in 1797 when war was declared by Pitt. It was played on board ship during the Battle of Trafalgar. The last recorded instance of it being played as a sort of patriotic rallying cry is December 1914. But it's since fallen out of public consciousness. So we've got a quick version performed by the Academy of Ancient Music. Have a listen to this.
Britons strike home, revenge, revenge our country's wrongs. Fight, fight and record, fight, fight and record yourselves in Druid songs.
Do you like it? You come from a composing family.
In terms of kind of patriotic songs...
Yeah.
I prefer Three Lions.
I suspect it was written in the kebab house. 3 in the morning. Fight! Fight!
OK, so we are all going to sing... here we go.
Strike home, revenge, revenge your country's wrongs. Fight, fight and record, fight, fight and record yourselves in Druid songs.
That was really shit.
It felt like dinner at Nigel Farage's house.
There you have it, the original national anthem, a song about druids fighting Romans. Now for a Q question. Has anybody here ever had the quabbles? And don't spare me the details.
Indigestion, diarrhoea.
I've had, like, collywobbles.
Collywobbles, yes, that is to do with your digestive area, isn't it?
No.
No?
That's when you're just, like, a bit unsettled.
OK.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I went out in the garden, I think an owl's watching me, I've got the collywobbles. Like, I feel his eyes on me, like, it's not hooting.
Yeah,
But I think it's there.
He's looking at me, but his body's facing the wrong way, but his head's coming right round.
What might it do to you if it's watching you?
It might think I'm a shrew or something, I don't know. What's going through its head?
OK, so it's not quabbles.
Is it an emotional thing? It is physical?
It's a very old word. It's actually a word from possibly in the Wiltshire dialect. It's the wrinkles that form on your fingers when you are on your toes.
Oh,
yes.
I hate them.
Why do you hate them?
Oh, when you rub them against each other, they kind of... Oh, my God, I hate that.
Now, why do you think we have them? Do you know what the reason is?
Is it for grip?
Yeah, well, we don't know, but it's possible that is one of the suggestions, that it's a sort of evolutionary adaptation because you had to handle objects quite often with wet hands, and it helps drain water away from the fingers so you get a better grip. It's not simply because your skin is saturated, because you would have it all over, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It is very useful for doctors as a diagnostic tool, particularly on an unconscious patient, because you might suspect damage to the autonomic nervous system, like your breathing and your digestion and your heartbeat and so on, if you wet the hand and you can see which bit's wrinkled. Elephants have permanently quabbled skin. Anybody know why?
They're always in the bath. When humans appear, they jump out the bath. They're quabbled from head to toe.
Is it a surface area?
It is to do with staying cool.
Yeah.
So they have these tiny interconnected crevices, and the cracks in the skin, it retains 5 to 10 times as much water as it would if it was smooth. It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Elephant skin is the most glorious feeling to it. It's just soft and exquisite. They're wonderful
Where did you
creatures.
meet an elephant?
It's a part-time job as a mouse.
Yeah. Which brings brings us to the Quizmazy quagmire of quandaries, which is our Quizmaz general ignorance. Fingers on buzzers, please. How many months of the year does it snow in Britain? Yep.
All of them.
Is the correct answer.
Whoa!
All rain in the UK begins as snow, is the actual answer. Albeit unbelievably
Good
high up.
noise, good interested noise. Oh, going to tell that one to people at home in the morning.
Very high up in the atmosphere. Unless it's a very cold day, the snow melts as soon as it hits the warm air and it falls to the ground as rain.
Do you know what, Sandy? I love a party with a happy atmosphere.
Yeah. Why can't you have a party on the moon?
I don't know. Why can't you have a party on the moon?
No atmosphere. Most British rain is caused by something called the Bergeron-Findeisen process. So the tops of the clouds are made of a mix of ice crystals and supercooled water droplets. So that's water which is below freezing point but has not frozen. And the liquid water clumps around the ice crystals and forms snowflakes.
Below freezing point, but it hasn't frozen.
It hasn't actually frozen. Yeah. I know. It is perfectly possible. And they
should be stoned.
They form...
Get information like that.
They form snowflakes which grow until they're heavy enough to fall out of the cloud. So in Britain and other temperate climates, nearly all of the rain which we get starts as snow.
That's amazing.
So you start as snow and you drift in a bit, drifting, and then you think, oh, I'm turning.
I'm turning, I'm turning.
Into rain. Woo!
That's exactly what it's like, just like that. Why is ice slippery?
Oh, good question.
It's the watery bit on top of the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Does that sound right?
Well, I think you should probably ask Sandy rather than me.
When your foot goes down, it melts the top bit of the ice.
Don't ever look at me again when you're answering a question. We're not in this together.
It's an old theory that it used to melt when you stepped on it, or that by stepping on the ice somehow...
She has just really yanked him hard.
Yeah,
She's got a lot of life insurance.
There was a theory that if you stepped on the ice, the pressure you exerted melted the top layer, and this water is then what you slid on.
You'd have to be stupid to think that.
But the pressure would need to be extreme. We've been talking about elephants. If you put an elephant in high heels, you still could not exert enough pressure to make that happen.
Also, I think you'd be locked up.
I'd like to see an elephant in high heels, eh?
Yeah, but would you put it in two pairs of high heels or just two? Like, do you want to make it sexy or is it an experiment?
There's a team from the University of Amsterdam who may have solved the problem, and I think it's a matter of loose molecules. So ice has a very regular crystal structure. So I am going to just... you're going to get this, Johnny, and you're going to enjoy it. A little bit of science, OK? So the ice that's down at the bottom is each bit... Here's a molecule of ice, OK? And it is attached... Can you see that? To three. It's got three different things that it's attached to.
When you say ice, what you're looking at there are mice.
The stuff that's down below the surface has got three things that it is attached to. The stuff that is up, so up here...
Mickey.
...is Mickey up here, on the surface, is only attached to two. Yep. And what that means is they kind of move around. They don't really stick together. They detach themselves and reattach themselves in various ways. And so it is literally like marbles on a dance floor. And it would be slippery even if you weren't on it.
Madam, you claimed it would all become clear.
OK, now you explain it, Johnny.
When you put your foot on it, it melts a bit.
That's exactly...
Alan, I'm back in your camp.
Yeah, I feel my work here is done. Name an animal that you should leave a carrot out for.
Is it a reindeer?
Oh, no.
Is it a spooky garden owl?
It is a spooky garden owl. No.
It's not a rabbit, is it a hedgehog?
Did you say rabbit?
Hedgehog.
Hedgehog, no.
Should he have said rabbit?
Is it rabbit?
So, bad news for children who leave carrots out for Rudolph. Reindeers find it hard to eat carrots. They don't have incisor teeth on the upper jaw, so they never evolved to eat them because it's not a foodstuff they would find in the wild at all.
Have you heard about the carrot swindle? Do you know about the carrot
carrot
swindle?
How about the carrot swindle?
When you go to your self-serve checkout, everything you put on for whey, you just press carrots.
Really?
Yeah.
What, so you'd be like buying an anvil and you'd press carrot?
Yeah, so you put down, what's an expensive vegetable?
Prosecco.
So are you putting everything through as carrots?
I'm not doing it, Josh. I'm a very honest customer.
Where did you learn this?
From a reindeer.
No, it's because what they found,
Yeah.
the supermarkets, the reason they started to become suspicious was because they were selling millions of tons of carrot and that thousands and thousands of bottles of Prosecco were being stolen.
Wow.
So they started to watch people, and sure enough, people were just putting all their washing on the thing, pressing carrots and putting it in.
All their washing?
And it people were putting all their shopping on the thing, pressing carrots, and they've got 6 bags, they paid 12 quid.
Theft from self-service tills has doubled in the last 4 years, so you should not put this information out.
I'm doing it for Sainsbury's.
Yeah. Yes.
But, Alan, when you put your washing on, what should you press?
Why should we not give carrots to rabbits? What's the reason for that?
Oh.
It's just not good for them.
Yeah.
Greens are the best thing.
You're absolutely right. Wild rabbits don't eat root vegetables in any way, or fruit at all. Too much sugar, not good for you, causes tooth decay. Best diet for pet rabbits is hay, supplemented with some dark vegetables, but certainly not carrots. Let me show you the world's biggest rabbit. This is Darius, owned by Annette Edward. There it is. Yeah.
He is not happy about being picked up there, is he?
Bill Bailey's got 2 of those, and he told me that his was the biggest rabbit in the world.
Well, apparently this one measures 4 foot 4 inches from nose to tail. Costs her over £2,000 a year in food bills.
We're going to have a rabbit off with Bill and that one.
4 foot 4. That is brilliant.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, that's nearly as tall as me. Mind you, a lot of things.
I know, but you just want that to be in the garden when a cat comes over trying to bully it.
The unrealistic thing about the Father Christmas story is that reindeer don't actually eat carrots. Now, I think it's time for a cup of cheer. Who would like a glass of wine?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
please.
go.
Well, if you insist.
What a way to fall off the wagon this is going to be.
It really does feel like Christmas at my house because the glasses are plastic.
Very expensive. Very expensive glasses, then.
Madam, call that crystal.
Oh, that was a good day at Poundland, wasn't it, when you got
OK.
there?
So, I know you like to know a little bit about wine, don't you, Josh?
Love.
Yeah, OK.
What?
So, how far in advance should you open the wine for your Christmas dinner to make sure it is properly aerated?
October.
I would say 15 minutes.
It's intolerable to open a bottle of wine and wait for more than 15 seconds or so.
Can't wait for the Ferrero
Merry
Rocher
Christmas.
round.
Are we allowed to drink this?
Just telling if your mother says it's OK. Onwards,
Merry
Christian
Christmas.
soldiers, everybody.
Red wine.
The best way, if you are going to aerate red
What my
wine,
sofa smells like.
is not to decant it at all, or indeed aerate
What, drink it straight from the bottle?
You honestly might as well, is the truth of it. But if you really and truly wanted to aerate it, what you need to do is to put it in a blender, or do what I've done here, which is I've poured out a bit of the wine, put the cork back in and give it a jolly good shake. But just leaving it open for an hour or putting it in a decanter or something is actually pointless, frankly.
I like the idea of using your NutriBullet the next morning. It's like, taste of
Wine.
wine.
But lots of people believe that aerating good wine makes it worse. There was a guy called Émile Peynoux. He's often thought of as the sort of forefather of enology, so the guy who knows about the study of wine, and said it should be avoided at all costs, so don't bother with it at all.
Don't even pull over.
Don't ruin that at all. Now, with all the drinking we'll be doing this Christmas, we're all going to have stacks of glasses and cups. So who fancies a Christmas cup stacking contest?
Oh,
Shall
yes,
we do this?
Yes, please.
OK, so take out your stack of cups.
Yep.
And what you need to do is you need 3 cups here, and 3 cups here, and 6 cups in the middle. OK?
Have I got a child lock on my cups?
Have you done it?
Yeah.
OK, well done. So it's a proper sport. It's recognised by the American Amateur Athletics Union Junior Olympics. So here's what you have to do. You have to take the stack on the left and make 3, like this. Then you have to take the 6 in the middle and make them into a stack as well, like this. And then you have to make the stack of 3. So this is the shape that you should end up with. And once you've done that, in order to do it as a proper sport stacking contest, you then have to return it to how it was, but you have to start the same way and back like this, OK?
Yep.
So, are we going to have a competition?
Yep.
Oh
See who can do this fastest?
Yep.
All right.
This is so exciting.
So, start on the... Josh, darling, start on the left. Yeah, OK, very good. A stack of 3, a stack of 6, a stack of 3.
OK.
Ready, steady, go. Go. 3 and a 6. I'm just going to do those, and then take them down again from the left to the right.
Come out, come out. Right.
Josh! OK, I think we should challenge you to see if there's somebody in the audience. I'm going to pick... Anybody want to have a go? Anybody have a go? OK, the guy just put his hand up here. Come and have a go, my darling. Let's challenge you against Josh. What's your name?
Lee.
Lee, this is Josh.
I've
Josh,
got bad
this is
news
Lee.
for you, Lee. You're about to get your arse handed to you.
OK. Both put your hands on the board before you start. OK, are you ready?
Not really.
Go.
Whoa, what's going on, Lee? No!
You were not quite out the gate there.
I'm not going to lie to you, I dropped my first cup. Otherwise, I thought we were pretty well matched. Best of 3?
OK, put your hands on the mat, so no cheating.
Do you think that's going to make a difference?
I do. Ready? Go. You should be ashamed, Josh.
I've ruined Christmas.
You should be ashamed of yourself, cheating at Christmas.
Onward, Christmas!
Right, boys, hands on the mat. I'm going to give you best of 3. Are you ready? Go. Ladies and gentlemen, British champion stacker, Lee Norton. Second, and a happy Christmas to Alan, who comes first but once a year. Now, what we're going to do... we are all going to sing Merry Quizmas and a Happy Q Year. Here we go! 2, 3. We wish you a